Happy Friday to you, everyone. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope it's a great end of a week for you. I want to talk to you today about coming when called, or the lack thereof. How many of you own a dog and you say, well, you know, most of the time my dog does come. 90% of the time it comes to me when I call it. But what happens during that 10% of the time? You know, in most things in life, we think 90% of something, that's pretty good. 90% out of 100, that's not bad. Those are good odds. But not when it comes to come when called. It really isn't. Come when called, because it has a life-saving mechanism built into it. Quality of life mechanism built into it. Must be 100%. 100%. So why is it that so many people don't have that 100% come when called dog? There's a million reasons why, but I'm going to focus for the next couple of days over a few of the key reasons why this occurs. Number one of all time, and I'll cover it today, is simply lack of consistent communication. Tomorrow I'll talk a little bit more about lack of need on the part of the dog. Do I need to come back? But let's talk about communication, because there won't be a need unless the dog interprets a signal. In other words, if I'm just standing here, I don't know if Jake over here needs me to come to him unless he sends some sort of signal for me to do that. So therefore, it all begins with communication. Now, let me take that communication just a little bit deeper than I have in previous videos real fast, so you'll get an idea of what we need to tap into from an animal's perspective, specifically a canine. All right, number one, I've always said canines in particular use vision. They use vision. Vision plays the most important role for their learning and their interaction with a social group member. Think about it. You're in a big crowded room with people. If you can't see them, how are you going to interact with them? You'll have to figure out other ways to do so, but you'll have to also know that they're there. So here's a couple of advantages about having vision and using some sort of vision signal, a visual signal, when you're trying to call your dog back to you and making sure it happens 100% of the time. Here's the advantages. First of all, sender location. Visual signals allow you to immediately locate the sender. That's important. Hey, I'm calling you, not the front yard, not my neighbor, me. We're at a dog park. There's other owners there. There's other dogs. I say come. That would be me calling you. So a visual signal, big visual signal, really helps with that. So visual sender location. Bam, number one. Rapid transmission. Did you know that your signal is literally traveling at the speed of light? Yeah, that signal is traveling that fast to you. Rapid transmission, which means you can get your signal out there in a real hurry, and that certainly helps when your dog is headed towards the highway. You got to get it out there in a hurry. Then it comes in a rich variety. Think about it. I can sit here to you right now and say, stop. Or I could go, do all this sort of stuff. Everything. Think about how we add variety even to our auditory signals by using our arms, throwing that visual in there. So yeah, it's really cool because you can add a rich variety to visual signals. And the spatial and temporal patterns can be altered simply by movement. All you have to do is move some part of your body. Your posture can change. It means so much. And therefore, we use a lot of visuals when we're first training a dog to come to us when called. Auditory. What's the advantage of auditory? Same thing. Fast. Real fast. You say, they hear. Just like that. Real fast. Long distance versus visual. Sometimes visual is not so good if you're a long ways away. You can be so far that you can't even be seen. So it's really good for long distance. And it works when vision doesn't work. It works. And now we'll go over the advantages of tactile touch. That's another thing that we want to use when we're training our dogs to come when called. The advantage, fast. Again, all these are fast. And then there's low light capability. Even in the dark, you can feel your way around. So what are disadvantages of all of these? Well, the disadvantage for a visual signal is that the sender can't be seen. If it can't be seen, it's useless. All right? So that's where that auditory comes in, because it works when the vision does not. When there's obstructions, your dog is running free in the woods. You can do this all you want. Again, if I can't see you, I don't know you're calling me. And that's the beginning of all behavior. If you're trying to influence the behavior of an animal, you have to send them a signal. Well, how in the world are they going to obey if they don't even know a signal is being transmitted to them? Give that some thought. So yeah, if the sender can't be seen, the signal is useless. All right, so what's a disadvantage of auditory? Because we just said, man, this thing can help out the disadvantage of vision. What can auditory do? Well, here's a couple of disadvantages. It's short. Okay, unless you want to keep repeating it, come, over and over and over again. Even then, they can start to run into one another. Say a bunch of words in a real hurry, and people will say, slow down. Can you just slow down just a wee bit so I can pick out each and every individual word? Yeah, they're short. They don't linger. They don't hang around. Unless you get in some canyon, you got an echo going. They're really short, which means trying to triangulate the location of the sender can be extremely difficult. That's why alarm signals, I said in a previous video, short, loud, and that's it. Once. Because if I keep going, then now whatever it is I'm sending the alarm about can find me, can locate the sender of that auditory signal. So that kind of works against it. That's where visual now helps auditory. So you see as we're moving along here. With auditory, though, the other disadvantage is that there's a limited variety. Up here, there's a huge variety. Rich variety. Poor variety when it comes to canines. Canines have a very limited repertoire when it comes to using auditory signals. Granted, some breeds seem like they can sing the alphabet, I kid you not. But most of that is just simply to enhance their communication with us, to influence our behavior. They've learned to do that. But in the natural canid world, the auditory repertoire is very limited. Again, I'm a predator. Predators don't like to walk around yapping all the time and have the sophisticated vocalization system, because if I run my mouth, then my dinner realizes I'm here. They just located me. And I sent this inadvertent signal letting them know I am here. And they are very wise, and they now depart the scene. Okay. So there you go. So vision and auditory. What's the disadvantage of touch? What's the disadvantage? First of all, it requires short distance. Until you have technology. Look at our cell phones. Someone can contact you, touch you from around the world, going through a satellite into outer space and back down, and all of a sudden your phone vibrates. Welcome to technology. So in the natural world, of course, it has to be very short. You have to touch someone. So at a really short distance. And it also doesn't work around obstructions, again, in the natural world. But we always have to approach it that way because that's the world in which your dog comes from. That's its viewpoint. That's its instinct. Its behavioral mechanisms are all based off of natural, the animal kingdom, not modern technology. But we can use it. And I'll talk more about that tomorrow. And then humans, for example, we can skillfully send and decode tactile messages. Think about it. Touch someone. How you touch them can be perceived differently than what you even intended. You can do that on purpose, or you can touch them in a way in which they would absolutely interpret what you meant by that touch. A dog's repertoire for touch is far greater than auditory, but far less than visual. But it is important. It's just more limited. So there you go. So you see the advantages and disadvantages, and as you work through, it's kind of cool because you find where one is weak, the other one is strong. And that helps us. And that's why When you train your dog to come when called, especially in the beginning, and then even post the training, even when you have this reliable dog, you will need to throw in one of these along the way. Meaning, a lot of people seem to think that the goal of come when called is I should be able to stand here like this and say, Fido, come, and have the dog do my beckoning. No, it doesn't work like that. You may have to go, oh, well, let me try this. Hey, Fido, yo, see me over here? Yeah, get over here. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's no dishonor to use more than one signal to call your dog. Why would you only carry one tool in your bag versus 3 tools? Okay, so now I want to kind of just demonstrate using all 3. You guys have met Jake before. Jake is one of our professional trainers here at Taming the Wild, and he has with him a dog that has not been trained to come when called. Bear it is, and Bear is now going to volunteered his services. All right, no matter what dog we ever start with come when called. A couple key rules on that. And I'll just kind of take you back real quick here. Let me just flip over my page here. Remember, in all communication, if you're going to communicate with an animal and the end goal is to have reliability, you got to obey the rules of the semiotic triangle. You have to send a signal. So we're going to say come, and there must be an interpretation. And if the dog has never been introduced to the word come, it might as well be me just saying scuba to you. Okay, so now we have to get the dog to interpret come as go from point A to point B. Point B is you. And then why would they do that? Because there's a reference, you've done it about 1,000 times. All right, so signal 1, come, must always influence the animal's behavior to always respond 1, come back to you. We do not allow R2 where the dog goes away from us or R0 where they don't do anything at all. No, this is the only equation and the only answer that works. And if you do this, the behavior will become fixed, kind of like you with a red light. It becomes fixed. No matter what part of the globe you find yourself on, if you're driving a vehicle, the light turns red, you'll end up stopping your vehicle. That's called a fixed behavior based upon this semiotics and stereotyping signals and responses. All right, so that's just a little bit of a review. So now let's go ahead and show these behaviors. And Jake is now going to do a series of short leash. Again, why short? You can definitely see me. Why short? Because you can definitely hear me. Why short? Because I can touch you. Yes, before we jump into this football field length recall. Let's do a few, Jake. Let's show them what we do around here. So a lot of times we'll just walk.
Bear, come.
You hear Bear, come. And notice how Jake's posture changed from an upright walk. Suddenly he's bending over a little bit. He's moving backwards away from the dog. That plays more in the hand of motivation to come to me. But the important thing is that Bear heard Bear come. He felt a tactile sense on his neck that then turned his body back towards Jake, the sender, using the visual signal. And then Jake backing up, reeling him in. We used all 3. Let's do it a couple more times. Very good. Very good. One more time on the short leash. He's obeying the rules of the semiotics. He's saying Bear, come, and the end result is R1, response 1 by the animal, is come. Is come. We're going to talk heavily about that tomorrow. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a long line. And of course, Joshua and Jake, they walk around here with these vests on. I swear, I think they have a department store inside their vest. I'm thinking one day I could ask them, you got a microwave? And they probably just yank a microwave out of there. It's amazing what they can fit in their little vest. Okay, so now we're going to do a long line, and part of that is just to be able to get further away from the dog. I'm going to see if I can entice old Bear to come over here towards me while Jake disappears. And now he can call the dog.
Bear, come.
Nose posturing still stays the same. He's bending over. He's calling the dog. He's reeling in the leash. We're getting all 3 signals happening in the same way. And that is something that you want to do in the beginning. Later, you can take all of these signals that you're doing, this multitude of signals, and start eliminating some of them. You can. This is known as a signal suite. Many rooms in this signal house. But eventually, he can start to shut doors, meaning maybe I'll stand upright when I call Bear from now on. Maybe I won't tug on the leash at all unless he's not coming to me. Maybe I might even just eliminate Bear, come, and just stay with come. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do later. Maybe I will call him over my shoulder and eliminate literally all visual, making the dog respond to just auditory. You can go into another room and call your dog. There's no visual there. And if I'm not tethered to the dog, there's no tactile. There's no haptic signal as well. Let's do one more long recall. All right, my man. How are you, dude? Oh, you're going to go over and visit.
Come. Oh,
Very good. Very good. Okay, so today was just basically, like I said, I'm going to spend a couple days on this video because to do it justice, for someone to understand, Bryan, why does my dog only come to me 90% of the time and not 10% of the time? You have to be thorough. You have to really understand all of the reasons why this could be occurring so that you can address each and every individual reason and to achieve your goal of the dog that comes to you every single time. And that goal is extremely obtainable. And I'm here to tell you, I was just discussing with a client yesterday, and she commented on this big, huge smile on my face because she's been watching all these videos and she's been watching, she even called him Cattle Dog, by the way. She met him yesterday. She didn't call him Captain, she called him Cattle Dog. And the joy that Cattle Dog has and that I have, because he does come when called. Wow, the freedom it's incredible. So you can have it as well, but the number one thing is that we're not taking advantage. I see so many people use vision only, auditory only, touch only. They think it's some sort of dishonor to use more than one. No, that's junk. Animals use more than one when they can. Anytime an animal can use more than one, they're going to use more than one because out there, the stakes are much higher. You have to understand exactly what it is I'm trying to convey to you. And you need to respond in a certain way. We've got to adopt that attitude. Okay, so tune in tomorrow as we take another step in this journey. I'm going to talk a little bit more tomorrow about why come? Why? What, we start missing, why would a dog need to come? Again, we all want a dog to want to come. I do. I know I do. But before the want, we need to take care of the need and figure out why is there not a need from a natural standpoint and what we have to do to park that thing in there because you're living in my human world. We'll address that tomorrow. And we'll stay on this thing as long as it takes till everyone out there has a thorough understanding of what it's going to take to have a dog come to them 100% of the time. And then we're going to keep a lot of dogs out of the streets and we're going to keep a lot of owners happy and everyone will be wanting to keep their dog, hopefully, forever in their home. All right, that's it for today, guys. I'm out of here. I'll check back with you tomorrow. Make sure you tune in and find out a little bit more about that come when called. Barry, you did good, buddy. He's awesome, man. Good job too, Jake.